our next guest helped develop an app that provides photographers with a place to safely store their equipment. Welcome the co-founder and COO of My Gear Vault, Steve Belosi. Hi, how
Hi,
you doing?
Steve.
Thanks for having me.
See, photographers carry a lot of stuff.
They do.
I can't even name them. Lights. I don't know what that thing that looks
stands.
like an umbrella. You know,
Right.
and one person can't possibly carry all of them, assuming you're a professional person, and not everybody can have an assistant. Although
Yes.
that would be nice.
Right.
So how does it work for a photographer?
Sure. So what it does, what the application does, is it digitally organizes everything. So what's nice about that is it also provides a value. So our application talks to a database that will give that value. Okay, so you get nice and organized because in the way that things work now, it's spreadsheets, it's Word documents. There's no good way to do it. So the utility of the app is nice to get organized. So now you have a value. You know what you have. You know what it's worth, and then the magic is you can also insure and protect that gear because photo and video equipment is some of the most stolen gear out
It's
there.
also very expensive. So
Correct,
when a
very
photographer
expensive.
loses a lens or something, that's heartbreaking.
That is-
Right, or
Yeah.
it's very damaging to their business, right? So they could be, that's the difference between going out of business or not, right? Not just ruining your day, it could ruin, your year.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and then where is your storage located then?
So everything is stored in the cloud, right? So
Okay.
everything is secure. We use all the same data encryption that financial institutions would use. No, we're not supposed to say that word.
Yes.
But data security is very important. So everything, so if you do lose your phone, you're not going to lose everything that you input into My Gear Vault, which
Right.
is nice. So it's all cloud storage.
How did you know there was a market for this? Because I feel like, photographers, there's not a whole lot of apps out there for them besides,
Right.
of course, the editing apps and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a very underserved
Yeah.
market. So my partner, Jared Polin, very successful, very professional photographer, came to me and said, there's a need. Not a day goes by where someone says, I lost my stuff. Can you help my GoFundMe page? Where do you go for insurance?
True.
How do you solve that need? And it came to me and said, listen, we need to find a better way. There's a need out there. And that's how it all started. So really sort of born from the activity of Jared's world. So he's a very accomplished YouTuber, influencer, professional photographer. And, he's got a big following and voila, there we go.
See, with photographers, people I feel misunderstand this because anybody can take a picture.
Right.
We've taken selfies before we came on
you're a photographer.
this show. So
Right.
but
Professional.
I'm not a professional one, and it
Right.
takes a lot of skills to be a professional photographer. But still, in this arena, a lot of photographers are freelancers.
Correct.
Are these mostly your users? Are those mostly freelancers?
That's mostly who our target audience is or who the users of our app are. And it took some time to convince insurance companies that that was the case. So what I mean is there weren't products out there they were only for professionals. So the majority of folks, they do something else for a living, but they may do weddings on the weekends or birthdays or other things that generate income, they make some money and that sort of thing.
Right.
But that's really who uses our app, is the freelancer, the aspiring professional, the hobbyist enthusiast, right? So we've solved that, that need for the insurance of just the equipment, not just the business.
Is it also if an item breaks, if I drop a lens while, I'm trying to switch it out or something, and if it breaks, is that also covered in this?
So you're asking about a technical question for insurance.
Yes.
Okay, so most likely the answer is yes. It would cover things like damage, theft, and a host of other issues that may arise from incidents like that. So
Okay,
most
perfect.
likely yes.
Good.
And then what I want to ask you is, Paulina takes very good photos, right? if I don't know if you want, but if someday she's like, you know what, I'm really good at taking photos, and now I'm gonna take headshots for, I don't know, 3 producers of the show or whatnot. Where do you think she should start? Because I you probably heard this too, is our friends like, oh, I can be a food photographer because I love food. I can be a landscape photographer because I like travel. It's, and as you said, it's a very hard arena to break in because just because, everybody thinks they
competitive.
can. It's very competitive. So what do you say to these people who want to be photographers?
Yeah, I say go for it. There's the sky's the limit. There's solutions out there to provide you the protection from an insurance perspective, whether you're a true business or you're a sole proprietor, doesn't matter. Go for it. So we should talk about your photo career.
Most definitely. I'll just have like a side hustle
Yeah.
where I can also be a photographer.
Absolutely.
I'll just start freelancing on the side. It'll be great.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
think you should do
fantastic.
it. I would say go for it. I would encourage
I
anybody.
do have a lot of camera equipment, so I
Any-
should.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the thing. Get it organized. That's
Right.
what we encourage everybody. Get your stuff organized. Download My Gear Vault. Right? It's on
Perfect.
iOS and Android. Download it. Get all of your stuff organized and go for it. You know, go
Just like
for
take
that.
pictures. Like, what's the process like to get it onto the app?
So it's basically, yeah. I mean, so we could show a demo real quick, but basically, you start keying in information. You start keying in Canon. It'll populate with all the Canon,
all the products.
I
Yeah.
have
All of the
this
stuff.
lens.
I
I
have this.
have that
So,
camera.
and if for some reason it's not there, you can manually input. So
Even better.
it takes literally seconds to get all of your equipment in there. And once it's all there, it's a very simple process to insure it, and away you go.
That's
Get
incredible.
started.
It's really helpful for a lot of photographers. I'll have to tell a lot of my friends about it
Yeah.
actually
Please do.
because
And the last thing I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
you're fine, you're good.
The last thing I do want to ask you is when photographers they first start, their focus is, oh, I'm gonna get a model and take a shot. Like
Right.
I'm gonna take my first photo so I can put on my website and tell people, hey, I'm a real photographer. They don't think about the possible loss of their equipment. They
Correct.
don't think about possible damage until this happened. So what do you say to these people? Please don't give me a sales pitch.
Right,
But
no,
what do
no.
you say to these people about the importance of thinking ahead?
Right. So the time to learn about the right kind of coverage is not when you have an incident.
Yeah.
Right. So think your business through. Contemplate the risks. Okay. Understand where those risks are. Right. If your equipment walks away, if something breaks, like what happens? So contemplate the what ifs. Do a little planning. Right. Because retroactively trying to fix it is very challenging. So think it through like you would any other business, whether it's a side hustle or it's your primary source of income. Think it through, do some planning, get some kind of insurance in place before it's asked for. Right? Understand it. Seek out a professional. Seek out, whether it's look on YouTube. Seek out information. Make a good decision.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fun.